Crisis is over and you didn't die.
Sorry, kid, but this has to happen. If you play this pizza game long enough, you learn some neat tricks.
That's nice.
It really does.
A secret organization has been operating in Central City.
These people, they live in the darkness. In the absence of light. They will not be brought out of the shadows easily.
Everybody down!
Now that the multiverse is gone, physics has changed entirely. Earth was rebuilt.
I have to do everything I can to protect it.
Earth has more threats, and we don't know where they're coming from.
Something's off. You've been acting kind of different.
I had to start planning for a life without you.
We don't live in crisis mode anymore.
And I have to expose this organization.
Get out of there!
I can't be your damsel in distress anymore.
Our timeline has been rewritten.
With all these changes to our reality, maybe figure out who you want to be in this post-crisis world.
The anti-life equation.
Sorry, what?
It's a techno-organic poison.
It's targeted and transmitted through the big brain.
It's really scary, man.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Flash Season 6, Episode 10 trailer, the Crisis on Infinite Earths Epilogue. This is also happening after the events of the Arrow series finale, so I'll explain what's going on with that, because there is a little bit of crossover that's continuing in the back half of the season. In Holy Anti-Life Equation, it looks like Darkseid is on the horizon for the DC TV universe. If you're introducing the Anti-Life Equation like they name-dropped during that clip, then it makes sense that you would build up to something like the New Gods. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the Easter egg videos. We're doing a new Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite moment from Crisis on the video. So we'll just break all this down, top 10 style, starting with number 10. The title of this episode is going to be Marathon, but it won't air till the beginning of February. So like I said, it's airing after the Arrow series finale. They have a big funeral for Oliver. I'll talk about that in a second. The title of the episode is Marathon. The official synopsis just reads, after The Citizen, Iris's newspaper, prints an explosive story about Black Hole. Iris's life is threatened. Refusing to hide from those that are attacking her, Iris sets out to expose a dangerous organization, obviously talking about Black Hole from the comics. Meanwhile, Barry must face the consequences of Crisis and fulfill Oliver Queen's wish for him. So number 9, that's where you see Barry visiting Diggle at Argus, sitting inside some weird prison cell here. I don't know why they're sitting inside a prison cell talking about Oliver. Some of you might remember this Easter egg for the mask that Diggle is handing back to Barry. So Barry's holding Oliver's Green Arrow mask, but the reason why Diggle would be giving that to him is because Barry, way back when they started crossing over, is the person who gave Oliver that mask. So it's sort of like Diggle is giving him back the mask that he gave to Oliver. It's just like this heirloom between the two of them that has a lot of meaning. Number 8 WTF, Barry's hand starts giving off all kinds of weird Speed Force energy. That's probably the consequences that they refer to. So they changed the timeline, meaning that they changed a bunch of stuff that we just haven't learned about yet. We'll find out in future episodes. Some of that might just mess a little bit with Barry's connection to the Speed Force. He's getting more powerful, but he doesn't totally understand everything that happened after Crisis. Like, they changed a few things and they learned about that. Like, they're all on the same Earth now, but there's also a lot of other things that got changed that he just hasn't figured out yet. The energy he gives off also looks a little bit like Earth 90 Barry Allen when he was stealing Barry's speed. Like he said, you've been a speedster as long as I have, you learn a couple new tricks. There was also a bit of a teaser for future abilities that they'll unlock on The Flash. There's a lot of comic book abilities that The Flash has that they haven't done on the TV show yet. The number 7 WTF, Iris narrates how Crisis on Infinite Earths is over and Barry didn't die like the future newspaper said because Earth 90 Barry Allen took his place after stealing his speed. And just to be clear, that's just John Wesley Shipp's Earth 90 Barry Allen Flash that died, not Jay Garrick. So John Wesley Shipp still plays a character who's alive on the show on Earth 3 and who recently started getting busy with a version of Tina McGee that looks just like Barry's mother. So there is a happy ending for John Wesley Shipp, the actor, in all this. I'm also hoping that he cameos during the Flash movie too. But I don't know who he would play during the movie. I don't know if they're going to let him play a character as big as Jay Garrick in the DC movies, but that just remains to be seen. It's going to be a couple years before we see the Flash movie. I talked a little bit about that in my last Crisis on Infinite Earths video when I did the Ezra Miller scene crossing over with Grant Gustin Flash, so I'll post a link to that at the end of this. But number 6, now the crisis is over, Barry and Iris think that all the super hardcore problems are taken care of and they can Netflix and chill for the rest of the season. Like, oh, there might be some villains that pop up, but for the most part, the crisis is gone. We don't have to worry about this dark future. But then they officially introduced the Black Hole storyline from the Flash Rebirth comics. You also notice this Easter egg here too. The news broadcaster isn't broadcasting from Channel 52, it's Channel 8. That's also another Easter egg for some of the changes they made combining all the Earths into Earth Prime. The 52 Easter egg from way back, because they've been doing that since Arrow Season 1, was a reference to the New 52 universe of the DC Universe and the second big Crisis event called Infinite Crisis, not the same thing as Crisis on Infinite Earths. Number 5, during Infinite Crisis, during the early 2000s, Alexander Luthor created a new cosmic tower using the Anti-Monitor's power to try and bring back his Earth that he'd lost. The version of the multiverse that they brought back during that event only had 52 different Earths. Then they had the Flashpoint storyline. They made a couple more changes to their timeline, and that's then what's referred to as the New 52 era of DC Comics. So anytime you're watching old episodes of Arrow or The Flash and you see Channel 52 on the news broadcast, that's what that's referencing. The last big DC comic book event to change the multiverse was DC Rebirth. They also dropped an Easter egg for that when Oliver rebooted the universe. He said we have to rebirth the universe. So number 4, you have the events of the Arrow Season 8 finale, the series finale, very last episode. That's happening next week. There's a bunch of teasers and preview pictures that they drop for that. You see them bringing back dead people, most notably Oliver's mother. That's one of the many changes that they probably made to the timeline when they brought the universes back. There's probably a whole bunch of other cameos for that episode, but there's an important reason why the Flash episode isn't premiering till after the Arrow series finale, just because a lot of what you see happening during this next episode of The Flash addresses all the stuff from the Arrow finale. Number 3, it seems like somebody has the bright idea to turn the particle accelerator on again for the billionth time, and you see the black hole assassin chick chasing down Patchface here, who just seems like a common thug, and they introduce this big cover-up storyline. Iris's news team starts to investigate Black Hole, who, according to the trailer, has been operating out of Central City in secret this whole time since before the beginning of Flash Season 1. That means that the Reverse Flash probably knew about them and didn't say anything just because they weren't a threat to his plans, and it would only complicate things to let them know about it before he was ready to make his move. It seems like the Black Hole Assassin then starts going after Team Flash to silence all of them. She goes after Joe, she comes after Iris. Cisco says the Earth has more threats that they don't know about, don't know where they're coming from. They bring back Katie Sackhoff's Amunet Black character. The chicks fighting each other in black leather just seemed like more Black Hole agents going at it. Then this woman here, looking at her reflection in the shard of the mirror, might be their new version of Mirror Master. I don't know which episode she's supposed to debut in. Number 2 WTF, Wally West is coming back in the back half of the season for a big Reverse Flash episode. I think it's going to be Season 6, Episode 14, so it's not going to be this next episode. They'll probably use that episode to address what happened with Reverse Flash during Crisis. Now, I explained in real life the reason why they didn't include him, but the character himself will explain where he's been and why he wasn't around. Probably hiding out inside the Negative Speed Force because that protects him from the timeline changes and would have also protected him from the antimatter wave. They also kind of implied that Wally might wind up fridging Reverse Flash during his episode. They say permanently defeat, so that could mean a lot of different things. But obviously, number 1, big WTF, is the name drop of the anti-life equation, all the new gods, all the Darkseid implications. They name dropped it on Supergirl during the episode that happens right after Crisis on Infinite Earths this past week, so I'm assuming that they're just building towards eventual new gods story, and they'll probably handle that in a future crossover. We're not in the Smallville era anymore. They kind of did a version of Darkseid on the Smallville TV show. If you're going to do a character as big as Darkseid because of the anti-life equation, you would do that for a huge, huge crossover story. So everyone post your theories in the comments below. If they're using anti-life equation this early in the story, when do you think they'll actually pay that off with some new gods story? There's been a bunch of big Marvel, X-Men news recently, so I'll try to do a video for that as soon as possible, but leave all your requests in the comments below. Everyone click here for that scene of the Ezra Miller Flash in Crisis on Infinite Earths crossing over with the Grant Gustin Flash. Favorite moment hands down, and click here for all my other Crisis on Infinite Earths episode videos. Thank you so much for watching, everybody stay awesome, I'll see you guys tonight.